Okay, so I decided to go through this question again in case some of you are confused, because when I was in class I realized some of you are a bit confused with this. So let this be the basis in terms of understanding how to go about solving cubic equations. Okay, so this question is actually split up into two parts. So the question can just ask you part B directly, but you still have to do part A. So in this case I just split it nicely for you in part A and part B lah. Yeah, but questions can just give you part B only. Okay, so how you go about factorizing? Remember, factorizing actually means adding brackets, to put it very loosely lah. Okay, so the final answer, we should have some brackets inside it. Okay, so very first thing you want to do is to always let fx be equals to the polynomial. Okay, once we let fx be the polynomial, then remember I told you you can use your calculator to make it a bit faster for yourself to find a special number instead of trying and trying and trying. So if you put your calculator, your A to be 1, B to be -7, C to be 4, and D to be 12, you will get these three special numbers. So from your calculator, you will actually get -1, 6, and 2. Okay, so what I like to choose normally, so the thing is you can choose all three, but what I like to choose normally is the smaller number and a positive one. So in this case I will choose 2. So once you have the special number already, just input your special number in and you substitute into the polynomial. Okay, so make sure you put your brackets. It's a good habit to put your brackets so that you won't make mistakes, especially for negative numbers. Okay, so remember to check that you get 0. So really go and press the calculator to check, because sometimes you may make careless mistakes in certain areas and you will realize it. Okay, so you have to get 0. Okay, so if you get 0, right, actually by the factor theorem, it means that x minus 2 is a factor of fx. Okay, so this is by your factor theorem. Okay, so another way how you can remember it is, because your special number is x equals to 2, right? So I want to make the right side 0, so it becomes x minus 2 equals to 0. So this is going to be the factor. Okay, this is a bit of like a reverse process from what we did during remainder theorem, where we started off with the linear divisor and then we find the special number. Okay, now it's the opposite way. Can? Okay, then once we find this linear divisor already, the next thing you want to do is to find the other factor. Okay, so in order to find the other factor, we have to do our long division. Okay, so this is our long division, which I believe you are familiar with it. If you're not familiar, please go and revisit 4.1 to look at it again, because long division is used very often in this chapter, so you must make sure you know how to do it. Okay, so I will be doing this a bit faster, okay, because I will assume that most of you already are quite familiar with it. Okay, so you will have this. Okay, then it will be minus 6. Okay, so you have minus -6x plus 12 equals 0. Okay, so the way to check that you have done your long division correctly and you're on the right track is this have to be 0 also. Okay, so just a reminder, this is your, sorry, let me write it again in red instead. Oops. Okay, so this is your quotient, this is your dividend, this is your divisor, and this is your remainder. Okay, so once you have all this already, then let's plug it into the division algorithm. So your division algorithm states that your dividend is equals to your divisor multiplied by your quotient plus your remainder. Okay, so what this means is I'll just have to put it in my x cubed minus 7x squared plus 4x plus 12 is equals to my divisor multiplied by my quotient, and then our remainder is 0. So we put a plus 0 here, but actually we don't even need to, so I'm going to erase it. Okay, because it doesn't mean, yeah, it's plus 0, so essentially you don't have to write it. Okay, so actually we are almost done. They ask you to factorize, but remember they use the word completely. Okay, so we look at x squared minus 5x minus 6. Okay, we actually know that we can further factorize it. So we will actually have your x minus 6 and x plus 1. Okay, this one is using your sec2 factorization. Okay, either your cross method or your multiplication frame. Okay, so now this will be the answer for your part A. Okay, so if any of you have forgotten how to go about doing your multiplication frame or your cross method, let me quickly show you here. Okay, if you don't want to listen to this part, you can just go ahead and skip it, it's fine. Okay, so for your multiplication frame is x squared and negative 6. So you need to try values, and you realize that it's x minus 6 and this is x plus 1. Okay, so what you'll get is your plus x and minus 6x. Sorry. You'll get a plus x and minus 6x. Why is it always like this? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, minus, wait, okay, minus 6x. Yes, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so minus 6x. How do you check whether it's correct? You look at all this. If this gives me back 5x, or negative 5x in this case, then it's correct. Okay, for your cross method, you're actually looking at like that. Okay, so you'll put your negative 5x here, your x squared here, and your negative 6. So how it works is it is a cross. Okay, so we want to find that x times x gives me x squared. And then we realize that, oh, okay, negative 6 and 1 plus 1. So this will give me negative 6x. Sorry, don't know why always I press that you have issues. Okay, let me try again. Hold on. Okay, yeah, negative 6x and plus x. Okay, so this will give me negative 5x, so it's correct already. Okay, so that's how you go about factorizing a quadratic expression. Okay, yeah. Okay, then let's look at part B. So for part B, right, they ask you to solve for the roots, or rather find the real roots of x cubed minus 7x squared plus 4x plus 12 equals 0. So you write the equation down first. Okay, so remember it's a hence question, so we are using the top part. So we factorize this already, right? And it is helpful to factorize it because it's much easier to solve after that. Okay, so we have this, and remember, because now we are saying that this times this times this gives me 0. Okay, what does this mean? We realize that the only way for the product of these three terms to be 0 is that either your x minus 2 equals 0, or your x minus 6 equals 0, or your x plus 1 equals 0. Because any one of them is 0, right? You multiply by any other thing, is going to give you 0. Okay, so that's the reason why we write it this way. And then we have x equals to 2, or x equals to 6, or x equals to negative 1. Okay, and this will be your final answer and will be the real roots for this equation. Okay, so I hope that I managed to clarify some of the questions that y'all might have, and hopefully this video helps y'all to clarify certain things, and hopefully this makes more sense for y'all lah.